going to talk about common makeup mistakes and what not to do and then what to do. And just so you know, I am not innocent on all of this. Like, I'm guilty too. I've done a lot of these and I was reading through my list and I thought, man, like I got to change some of this. We're going to do it together and kind of learn new little techniques and skills and the right way to do makeup. So the first thing you want to think about is skincare. So we want to wash your face and then you put on your toner and then you put on your moisturizer and then your sunscreen and then you wait a couple minutes and then you put on your foundation. So did you get that pattern? I was confused about that for a while. That's the way that you do it. Those are the steps. And if you do it like that, you should have good skin, but don't skip it. So I've already done mine. I put on my sunscreen. Next, we're going to talk about primer. Primer, you really need to know your skin and don't be lazy about this. I know we can kind of be like, oh, I just have combo. We really have different types of skin. Mine is very oily. So I've gotten this L'Oreal primer for oily skin specifically. So you really want to know your skin type. And just pay attention throughout the day. Just look at your skin kind of different times of the day. Notice if it's oily, if it's dry in areas, if you have both, then you have combo. Really get to know your skin and what it needs to wear makeup. So I'm going to apply my primer and I'm just going to put a little bit on mainly my T-zone. I don't really need a ton on like my cheeks, but I just get so oily on my forehead, down my nose, on my chin. Another thing too is we don't need to overdo it. You know, really with any of these, you can just do what's needed and necessary, but you don't need to over apply. I feel like that really does feel good on my oily skin. I feel like it really mattifies and it just is a really good base for foundation. For foundation, I feel like the steps that we really need to consider is first, don't use too much, and then we want to blend down our neck. And those are things that I think people miss a lot. I'm going to use the Maybelline Super Stay foundation. This is very good for oily skin. So again, choose your foundation according to your skin type. Really make sure you have good shade match as well. I have 115 here, and I feel like this is a good one for me. So when you're starting foundation, you want to just do half a pump. And that's kind of what we want to start with because a full pump might be too much. You just want to see how much you actually need. I'm doing it in little increments, but I'm doing about half a pump. I'm honestly just going to start with just these little dots here and see how far this gets me, and then I can apply more. But I didn't do a full pump. We want to just apply slowly and just kind of build it up and see how much we need after that. Really, foundation, remember, is just for coverage and coverage in areas that we need covered. We don't need to wear a mask. You know, our faces are beautiful as they are. We don't need a huge mask. Just whatever you need to cover some of those blemishes, the redness, everything like that, just to even it out. And especially foundations for oily skin, I feel like they can go a really long way just because they're so mattifying. I feel like you don't need a ton of it. You just kind of need it in those specific areas. So I got that on. I'm looking in my mirror and I can see I have a little bit of redness still here, a little bit here. My nose, I'm going to cover with something else because I just always need to. Those are the only areas. I feel like everything else looks pretty good and is covered. We really don't want to get too cakey with foundation. So I'm just going to do a little bit more, just kind of dab in those areas. It is totally okay and kind of expected to build foundation so you know really how much your face needs according to your skin type. So just in those areas, I'm going to build just a little bit more. This foundation really builds on top of itself really nice too. This is a really thick, heavy foundation. It really can be. But just because I apply just a little bit at a time, I feel like it's very lightweight and I don't feel it on my face. So it's really cool just applying it differently and a little bit less, just a little at a time, really can make a big difference. Sometimes we may not like a foundation, and I think sometimes it's just because we apply too much of it and we just think, oh, it's too heavy, it's too cakey, I don't love it. But you know, look at how much you're putting on and try to scale that back a lot and just see if you notice any difference and if you like it a lot better. I do. I like this one really well. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of my Essence powder foundation over my nose. This is just my red area that I have to cover no matter what. Did you know they're getting rid of this? At least on Ulta's website, I can't find it anywhere. I'm kind of mad. Switching to something else I found on Amazon, and I'll link that below too. I don't know how well it works yet. I haven't gotten it. It's like a Revlon powder foundation, so I'm hoping it works well in my redness coverage, as well as this one in the Physicians Formula do. I'll let you know about that. And like I said before, I didn't show this a lot, but you want to blend down your neck. So you really want to make sure you're not stopping your foundation right at your jaw. We need to blend all the way down the neck to make sure that's nice and blended and it doesn't look like just a mask on top of your face. Also with skincare, that's really crucial. Any skincare you're putting on your face, blend it down your neck. It's called the neglected neck. So don't let your neck be neglected. Make sure you're blending everything down it. I think you'll thank yourself in like 10 years. Maybe you'll come to me in 10 years and be like, Caitlin, I knew it, and I'm so glad you told me to do that 10 years ago. For concealer, one of the biggest things that we kind of mess up with concealer is going too light. Sometimes we get so worried about it being too dark and we're trying to cover the darkness that we go too light. I have this Catrice concealer, and this honestly is a perfect shade for me. This is in the shade Neutral Ivory 002. I feel like this one is close to my skin tone. I use it all the time because of that. I don't want to go super bright where I have like reverse raccoon eyes. We don't want that. We want it to just kind of match our normal skin. And I'm going to do just a little bit in the corner and then just a little bit here and see if I can make it not too heavy as well. So another thing, I do this, and you've seen this in every one of my videos, is that I go do, and I go all down because I feel like I need it. But I am trying really hard to just do those areas. I'll blend it out and we'll just kind of see. When I did my previous video, it does blend out basically the same as if you put it all under. It's a little bit lighter. It just covers just enough. I struggle with some of these too. You know, we're all learning here. And sometimes I feel like I just need a little bit more right underneath. But maybe if I blend that one kind of more inward, that will catch some of that. What do you think? I'm struggling here. Maybe we'll do a little bit under. Let's just do a dot. Maybe as we age, we can allow a dot right there, right under our eyeball, just to kind of get, I just feel like I'm missing right there when I do the other method. I just need a little bit. I think that's better. But you still want to be really cautious and careful of how much you're putting on. You just want to do those couple dots and then blend that. Really, as you age, I feel like less is more in so many areas with makeup. So just really keep that in mind. Okay, so for powder, one of the biggest mistakes that we make is packing on the powder, and I am totally guilty of this. I've done this in probably every video. I get a ton on my triangle puff and I pack it all on. So today I'm gonna try to do a little bit lighter because this is the method that we wanna be doing. So I just have a little bit, and I'm just gonna put a little bit over that concealer. I don't want to cake it on like I normally do. I'm gonna see throughout the day how that wears too, because I feel like it might wear better. So I'm just trying to get a small amount. This might look like a lot to you, but it really is a small amount to me. Normally, I got it all down here in triangle. It's like it's so oily, but I'm trying to just dab where I need it and not all over my face, you know? So I think that looks good. That basically looks like what I do usually, but I just use less powder. I'm gonna do a little bit on my forehead because I am oily. I need to put some here and then around my nose. I know even though I did the powder foundation, I still put normal powder on top of that because my nose is a whole different issue. That's just a whole different thing. So those rules don't apply to my nose. And then right here, I get a lot of lip product transfer from my lips onto my chin. That is all the powder I need and all I'm gonna do. And I feel like that looks good. And I feel like it's not too heavy. It doesn't look like it's caked on. I think it's gonna work well and set well for oily skin still too. For eyebrows, this is a little bit tricky for me because I have tattooed eyebrows. I just kind of have to cover. But in general, you wanna go lighter and you don't want them too harsh and too blocky. We wanna just have a really light, nice eyebrow. And another thing is we really wanna define the tail. So I'm going to start first with my, I'm loving this Viseart eyeshadow. I call it wrong every single time. My Viseart eyebrow palette. And I'm just going to do one of these lighter shades. I'm really loving this one up here. It's kind of just a middle of the row neutral brown. I've been really liking this shade on my eyebrows. It's not too dark how I used to do where I did like black to match my hair, but it's not too light where you see the blue and the gray from my tattoo shine through. I like to start on the tail. It's kind of up to you, like how your eyebrows are and shaped and everything, but it's so much easier for me to start on the tail and then go in to the front and then connect them. That's just worked for me so well. I feel like I really get a better shape. I used to start in the inside and then go out, and I never got a good shape. I just feel like it looks like a rainbow. I like doing it this way because I can get that point. Just filling them in and keeping them soft. I am totally guilty of this as well because I used to do really harsh lines right here to start my eyebrow, and I'm starting to just try to make that rounded and just do a little bit less of that and just really make it a really soft soft eyebrow like that. I always call these stepsisters. They go to dinner together on Sundays, and that's about as similar as they are some days, and that's okay. With eyebrows, you need to know when to stop too, especially when they're tattooed like mine. You just need to know when you're done and be done and put the stuff away. Because if you keep messing with them, they get bigger, they get more crazy, and it just doesn't lead to good things. So you gotta know when to stop. I love to clean up the tail like that. Get a Q-tip and just run right along and then right down, and that just cleans it up really nice. I never clean up on top. I always just go underneath. I'll just do a couple little hair strokes just to go over them a little. One mistake, if you get your eyebrows too dark, like me, I like to just get another Q-tip and just kind of rub it around on that dark area and just blend it in. I mean, and even if you do those hair strokes, you can do that same thing. Just get a little Q-tip, rub around on those little hair strokes and just blend them in so they're not so defined. And I think that looks good. For bronzer, the biggest mistake that a lot of us make is we go too low. And that's kind of common, and I think we kind of know this by now, but I'll just show you how I do my bronzer. So I just have this e.l.f. liquid bronzer, and I want to start right at the side of my ear and just do a couple dots, and I'm doing it pretty high. Like you can see how high that is. But remember when we blend, it's gonna naturally kind of sink a little bit. So we wanna kind of start a little bit higher than you normally would, and we can add more, but we can't take away as easily. I'm gonna use this brush. This is a dual-ended brush I got from Amazon, and I just like to kind of tap it in with the really thick side, and just kind of create where that shape is gonna go. Same on this side. And then with the fluffier side, I just blend it a little bit. Just go over it still with that one. I think that looks really good. I think it's high enough, it's lifted, it's blended in, we don't have too much. Again, you want to think about how much you're putting on. I'm really trying not to go inward too far. I used to do that on purpose and go right here, and I feel like that drags my face down a little as well. So I'm trying to just keep it really close to outside. And as you blend it, you kind of want to go up. You can see just kind of the C shape I'm making. We don't want to go any lower than where we put the dots. Just gonna naturally kind of blend all around that area, like I said. Barely tap on the sides of my nose. This is a good little trick too, to just make sure you are contouring your nose, and it's super easy. And you don't need to do all the crazy steps that some people say you need to do. You don't need to do concealer down the nose and blah, blah, blah. Just do a little bit of bronzer on the sides and it looks good. I also like to bring it down just a little bit too, like down here. I don't just stay right here, but I bring it down just to kind of give that shadow. Okay, and then for the head, I'm gonna do a little bronzer up there. So we'll just do a couple dots, and then on my jaw as well. For the forehead, I don't like to go too low either. Oh, that was probably too many dots. Careful with your dots, but I like to leave it pretty high. I think some people go really low with their bronzer, like down to here. I don't really know why. I like mine a little bit raised. And then for jaw, you just want to kind of follow your jawline, blend that in. So the big idea with bronzer is we want to keep it high and lifted. You don't want it to sink down. My kitty wants out. Of course. It's so hard to open the window because I'm in a swivel chair and I work right here too. So this happens a lot when I'm working, and I try so hard to like subtly like open the window, but I can't because I'm in my swivel chair. So if I try to open it, I just like swivel everywhere and it just doesn't work. I just have to do it with all my strength. Next is blush. I have my lovely, love it so much, It Cosmetics Sun Blush. This is in Sun Warmth. This is my favorite blush of all time. And I'm just gonna get a little bit. So with blush, we really wanna do just a little teeny bit, little dab, and I'm going to put it clear up there. Again, remember it's gonna sink, but we want it a little bit above the bronzer, and that's all we need. We don't need to put it any lower than that. Just kind of blend it around a little bit with your finger, and then you can go in with your brush and really blend it. So now I have a brush that I'm going to just blend. And when you're blending, stay in the same area as well. We don't need to blend all the way down here. You know, you want to stay right where it is, and you're just blending it in. You're not really blending it in any other area of your face. Does that make sense? Just keeping it right where it was placed. I do sometimes go over my eyelid a little bit with it just to kind of create a seamless transition there. But mainly we're just keeping it right where we placed it. And you can see how pretty that is. If you mess up and you get too much blush and it gets too low, the thing I would say is go in with a powder foundation, even just like this. Get a little bit on your blush brush. You can just kind of clean it up with that. and that will take away some of that stark blush craziness there and keep it really soft. But the ultimate thing is you really need to go in slowly at the beginning. So you're not spreading too much, you're not going too low. Again, know when to stop. You don't want to overdo this. You just need a little bit, just a couple dots, and it looks really good when it's blended in. Now we're gonna do eyeshadow, and this is one of the biggest mistakes that I personally make with eyeshadow. So let me show you. First, let's just do the crease. I'm just gonna do a little easy eyeshadow look on top. I have my Anastasia Fall Romance palette. I love this one so much. I love these colors, and I thought I wanted to play with this today. I'm gonna start with this neutral one down here and just do a little bit in my crease. These are so pigmented, you just have to be really careful too. Just that shade, I love that shade. It's a really good transition shade. And then I wanted to do a little bit of this green called Thorns. We'll just do a little bit on the outside. It's so muted, it's just such a pretty color, but it just has a little bit of that green hinge to it. Oh, I'm getting a little too dark. Whoops. Normally, I like to apply dark like this, and then I like to blend with the lighters, and I feel like that really blends in the dark easier than like ending with a dark one. Typically, that's how I would start. This got too far over. What in the world am I doing here? I guess I'll just have to make that mistake on the other side too. Okay, I'm gonna get this one again and just kind of blend things. So you can see I have a pretty basic eyeshadow look. I can maybe go a little bit deeper, just on the outer corner. Maybe I'll do this really pretty deep purple. So it's called Crimson. Just line a little bit on the outside with a really flat brush. I like to do that for some liner. So with the liner, I like to start on the outside and go in. And that really creates a good shape, and then I'm not like going all crazy out here trying to end as some kind of wing or something. I like to just start out here and just go straight across the lash line and go inward. I might want to do just a little bit more green. Let's put a little more green right on top of that now. And then we'll just blend everything with the lightest shade. So that's this one. This palette is a little bit tricky because this is the lightest shade and it's not that light. It's pretty dark. You kind of have to be careful, but mainly in other palettes, blending with the lightest shade at the end is always the best, I feel like. This one is pretty deep. The mistake that I often make on myself is I think I do too dark under here. That's one of the tips and things to avoid is don't do too dark underneath because it drags your eye down. And I feel like I do have that because my eyes already kind of are droopy and I don't think I need to be putting so much deep eyeshadow under there, but I need something. I need it defined. I have just this really thin flat brush. This is what I just used on the top. And I'm just gonna do that same crimson shade and go underneath very close to my lash line, and I'm basically just going over my tattooed liner, and I'm stopping right in the middle. I don't want to bring it all the way in because I feel like that's also droopy. So just barely. I feel like I need to start doing that because I think it lifts my eye a little bit and it doesn't make it look so dark and droopy down there. So I'm just running along that line right there and stopping right in the middle, and that is all I'm doing. So we're doing just a little bit of definition. I feel like that looks so much better and I just need to remember to do that. Makeup is to emphasize and put shadows over areas of your face. So you really want to pay attention to what you're bringing out and popping and what you're kind of hiding and putting back. With shimmer, I typically don't ever wear shimmer on my eyelids. I do for videos sometimes, but day to day, I don't like shimmer. But one mistake that we often make is putting shimmer on too much texture on our skin. We want to make sure we're just putting it in really pinpointed areas where we want things to pop. Think about texture, especially with aging skin like my own. I don't want to show a lot of texture that I already have right here, so I don't even wear highlight. But even with shimmer for your eyes, you just want to get a little bit and put it in the inner corner or on the lid. You don't need it all over the place. That shows a lot of texture and we want things to kind of stay matte. Well, I'll just show you. Maybe I'll do this shade right here. I'm just going to get a little bit and do just in my inner corner. And that just creates just a tiny little pop there. That's all we need. It's just a little subtle brightness. I think it looks so pretty just doing that and not having it all over the lid. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it just brightens that little corner. It looks so pretty. And it's just such a testament that less is more, especially with shimmer. It makes me want to put more on because it's so pretty, but then I'm kind of going out of the point here. I got to keep it just really subtle and just teeny little area right there. But it looks so nice. Like, look how pretty that it just makes your eyes like pretty. I don't know how to say it. I really love that. The next mistake that most of us make including me, for sure me, is we don't curl our lashes. I am so lazy. I hate curling my lashes. I never do it, but I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna start trying to do it more because I feel like it really does help. And it helps give them just a little bit of lift, which we're going for with all of our makeup. We're trying to do lift. Definitely don't skip curling your lashes. I'm gonna apply my Essence Princess mascara. Even if you don't put mascara on, curl your lashes. I think that is such a good little trick. Just remember that it makes your eyes open up. It really is a good thing to do. I love this mascara. It's just been so good, and I just forget about it and I use it again and I love it. Sometimes I debate if I want to put any on my lower lash line or not. I'm trying to not create that droopiness, but I feel like I need a little just to kind of open up my eyes. I feel like they look a little bit bigger if I put some on here, but I'm really trying to be careful not to put too much down there anymore because I don't want that droopy feeling and that look. I like it kind of more open like that. And I'm not like caking on the mascara. I'm just doing a little so my lashes are defined. Another trick that you want to do if you get mascara on your face, just like I did, this just reminded me of it and I actually did just do it. You don't want to immediately wipe it off because it's going to smear and smudge because it's still wet. Definitely don't put it in your mouth and then try to wipe it off. You're going to wipe off everything else you just put there. So you want to let it dry. This teaches you a lot of patience. Let it dry for a minute. Once you've let it dry, you can just brush it off and it will wipe off kind of like chalk on a chalkboard. It will just brush off. So wait, just leave it. Leave it until you're all the way done with your makeup and then try to brush it off and it will come off a lot easier. And we'll come back to it after I'm done with lips. For lips, I am so guilty of this as well, overlining our lips. I love to do this. I was watching myself in another video though, and I was thinking like, my lips look kind of crazy. And I thought maybe I need to stop lining down here and I need to just stay on my lip line. So I'm going to try that today and we're going to try not to overline our lips. I have this NYX lip liner. This is in the shade Nutmeg. I love this one. Obviously, it's getting really low. See, I just want to start down here, but I want to stay right on my lip line, right here. I'm being really careful. Another thing is you don't want to line in the corners. We do not need lip liner in here for any reason at all. We just want to stay right on the bottom and then right on the Cupid's bow on the top. Okay, how did I do? I feel like I did okay. I covered just my lips. I'm not on my skin at all. We just want to blend it a little bit. And then I have this, I'm loving this lipstick. This is from Sephora. This is just a Sephora brand lipstick and it's in shade 21. It's a brown. I don't think it has a name, but it's just shade 21. But look how pretty brown this is. I love it. It's kind of like a grungy 90s brown. And I just dab it on. It's so soft and matte. I just kind of dab and just gently go over. Look at that pretty color. I'm loving this lipstick lately. And you just need barely any because you just want kind of that tint. Let's go to this mascara, a little smudge, and see if it wipes off. It does, see? It just wipes off nicely. You can just go over that area. I'm just gonna do a little bit of my blush brush and it's gone. We didn't wipe off all the foundation and everything underneath it. So be patient when you make that mistake. Here's the final look. I'm really loving just kind of the lighter look, just kind of less is more look. I love it. I think it's really pretty, but it's soft and subtle and nothing is too like harsh and like stands out too much, but it looks like you did makeup, you know, but it looks natural. I really hope you enjoyed learning about these tricks and mistake errors and how to fix them. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it and make sure you subscribe to watch for more on my channel. And I hope you have a great day. Let me know your thoughts, any mistakes that you may make and how you fix them. And I'll see you in my next one.